absolutely sure that the dinner will be ready, Dorothy?
Of course it is. I've been in the kitchen burning it for most of the day.
It's just that so rarely that I have people for dinner these days.
Oh, really? I thought you'd prefer mutton, actually.
Pardon, dear?
Sorry?
I thought you spoke. Would you draw the curtains, dear? It's so cold in here.
Absolutely. Nothing better to do. Oh, Auntie, that's the elephant!
Oh, how careless of me. Is it damaged?
Oh, it's a little scorched down one side, but I think it's going to be all right. We really ought to start wearing those spectacles, you know, and then we wouldn't have these little accidents, would we?
Oh, I couldn't possibly. They made me look so old. I know that I am getting old, but I don't want to say that I am. Colonel Craddock gave me that elephant, you know. A present from India.
Oh. They're supposed to be unlucky when they have their trunks raised. That one was nearly very unlucky. Well, there are no logs left. I'll call Bunting, if I can find him.
What do you mean, dear?
Well, he gives me the shivers, that man. He's always creeping about the place and lurking in dark corners. I don't know why you keep him on.
Oh, Bunting never leaves. He's not capable of it. And I couldn't possibly let him go. He's part of the institution here.
Well, he definitely lurks.
Is it sure the dinner's all right, Dorothy?
Oh, yes, it's going to be fine. Just go and check.
It's so important to me, though, Dorothy, this evening. It's going to be marvellous to have a house full of guests again. Just like the old days, 2 years ago in Paris when we were all together. Do you remember that? Happy days. I'm so looking forward to seeing the Colonel again. And Pierre, such a charming young man, made me feel years younger. Oh, would you hurry up and fetch Bunting, dear?
Lord, ma'am!
Oh, Bunting! I do wish you'd announce yourself at the door. Now put that axe down, man. You look like a madman.
I needed to chop the logs, ma'am. I'm not an exponent of the martial arts.
Oh, there's no need to carry it everywhere. Put a log on the fire and the rest by the side, please.
I only brought the one, ma'am. It was rather heavy.
Really, Bunting, I don't know why I bother.
I didn't know you did, ma'am. Oh, will there be anything else?
Yes. There will be some guests arriving shortly, Bunting. I suggest that you station yourself at the front door so that they don't have to wait for 10 minutes.
By the front door, as you like, ma'am.
And we'll be wanting sherry when they arrive.
Sherry, ma'am. Now, will that be the best or the cooking?
Bunting, I don't know what's good in you. The best, of course.
Well, I only ask, ma'am, because there's only half a bottle of the best left.
What? We only recently restocked.
Well, you must have drunk it all, ma'am.
What? What did you say, Bunting?
You must have drunk it, ma'am.
Look here, I think I should remind you of your position in this household.
Well, I'm sorry if I fail to give satisfaction.
It's not a question of satisfaction. I just don't expect you to answer back. Is that clear?
I'll just have to curb my naturally exuberant nature. Is that everything, ma'am?
Yes, it is. Reorder more sherry next week.
As you like.
Door, Bunting. Dearie me, I see what you mean about Bunting. He's becoming insufferable.
Well, I found him in the kitchen trying to chop logs, and I ask you, all that food around. Don't worry, he rarely manages to hit anything.
I think we should keep a close eye on him. He's been on the sherry again.
Oh, no, I thought we'd weaned him off that after the last episode.
Well, if we lose him, we know where to find him.
You know, you'd think a man of his age would have more sense. He could have died of exposure in that fish pond. Oh, by the way, though, I've heard some rather interesting gossip about him in the village.
Gossip about Bunting?
Well, it seems that someone in the village pub has been talking about some lurid affair he had with a woman years ago.
Bunting? An affair, he must be exaggerating. Who would have warned him?
Oh, shall I go?
Last. No, let Bunting earn his keep for a change. I look presentable, dear.
Oh, you look fine. Just sit back and enjoy your weekend with your friends.
Thank you so much for organising everything, Dorothy. I don't know what I'd do without you.
Bunting, ma'am!
Bunting? What do you mean?
You asked me to announce myself at all occasions, ma'am.
Not when there are guests to announce. Show them in immediately.
As you like.
Thank you, Bunting. Mildred, how nice to see you again.
Mildred, old girl. How are you, my dear? Let's have a look at you. By Jove, you look younger every time I see you.
Really, Charles?
How's young Dorothy? Still keeping an eye on the old battle axe, eh? Marvellous.
Colonel and Mrs. Craddock, ma'am.
Pardon, Bunting?
Colonel and Mrs. Craddock, ma'am.
You announce guests as they arrive, not 5 minutes later.
Oh, I'm sorry, they didn't give me the opportunity. Will that be all, ma'am?
Yes, it will. Take the bags up to the green bedroom, would you?
The green bedroom. Yes, I can get them there by myself.
Yep.
Somehow.
And there'll be more guests arriving shortly.
I expect you'd like me to position myself near the front door so as not to keep them waiting.
Yes.
As you like.
Door, Bunting! Oh, I'm really very sorry about Bunting. He's just not himself these days.
Bunting? Bunting? Sure I've seen that fella somewhere before. Never forget a face.
Of course you've seen him somewhere before, Charles. You've been here before.
Have I? Yes, of course I have. Peculiar fella, though.
Of course, Margaret. This is your first time here.
It is, and I must say, I'm very impressed. The grounds seem to be huge.
7 acres. Of course, the estate is several thousand acres, but it's all rented out to farmers these days. Would you take a seat? Charles?
Oh, yes, sorry. Still trying to place that queer fellow. Never forget a face. Why, only the other day I saw a chap I hadn't seen for years. Recognised him at once. Why, Beaky, old boy, I said. How are you keeping? Chap was absolutely amazed.
What, that you recognised him?
What? Lord, no. Said he'd never seen me before in his life. Got quite abusive. Seemed to object to being called Beaky. An old chap, as it turned out.
You're not going to bore us with your tedious stories all weekend, are you, Charles?
Sorry, old girl. Just a spot of fun.
I don't think he'd be the same old Charles without his little stories. I find them rather amusing.
But you don't hear them so often as I.
Neither of you care for a sherry.
Not for me, thank you.
Well, you know me. Ready for a snifter any time, so long as the sun's over the yard arm, of course.
Dorothy, would you call Bunting?
Oh, don't worry, Auntie. I don't think he could cope with any more jobs at the moment. I'll go.
Delightful young girl. If I were 30 years younger.
But you're not, Charles. So it must be nice for you, Mildred, to have a young person about the house.
Oh, yes. I don't know what I'd do without her. And don't know how she puts up with me. I get so irritable these days.
Old age comes to us all. Take Margaret here. Just a little bit of a joke, old girl.
Oh, I'm really very grateful to Dorothy. I do think she should be mixing with people of her own age, but I intend to make sure she's very well rewarded.
Really?
Well, none of us live forever. So when I'm gone, she will benefit most handsomely. I've no other relatives.
But I thought you had other relatives.
No, all gone. Seen them all off.
Come now, all this morbid talk's getting me depressed. Did I ever tell you about that time?
Oh, I'm sorry that took so long. Bunting had hidden it.
Still can't place the fella. Damned irritating.
Oh, Oh, don't worry about it, Charles. You're about to tell us one of your stories again.
Was I? Don't suppose you can recollect what it was about? Dashed if I can remember. Still, come to me later. Anyway, here's to us all. Very best of health. Don't seem to make sherry glasses so big these days.
Help yourself, Charles.
Well, oh, I didn't mean to. Well, if you insist.
Would you excuse me, Mildred? I'd like to freshen up after the journey. It was so exhausting, especially with Charles at the wheel.
I'll show you to your room, Mrs. Craddock.
Oh, don't trouble yourself, dear. I'll ask Bunting. Excuse me.
You still got the old banger then, Charles?
What, Margaret? Yes, afraid so.
No, I meant the car.
Oh, well, get your meaning. That's not a banger, it's a Bentley. Wouldn't be without her. Still get your point. She's getting a bit temperamental in her old age. Mind you, so's Margaret, come to that.
Excuse me, I'm just going to go and check on the dinner again, Auntie. Is there anything else you want?
No, thank you, Dorothy. So how have you been, Charles?
Oh, not bad, you know. Lot of stick from Margaret. Seems to think I spend too much time at the club. Can't understand her. Chap needs the company of other chaps. Know where you stand with chaps.
Stop rambling, Charles. You know what I mean. When are you going to take me up on my little proposition?
Well, steady on, old girl. You're putting me in a dashed awkward spot.
Oh, do you remember, Charles? 30 years ago.
Of course I do. It's 30 yesterday. 1906. Kent won the county championships.
No, when we first met, when our affair started.
Oh, jolly long time ago, old girl. Lots of water under the bridge and all that.
And ever since you've been promising next year, the year after that.
You're getting a bit long in the tooth for all that sort of thing, old girl. Chap tends to slow down a bit.
Oh, Charles, I don't expect it to be a mad, passionate affair, but I just want you. I want your company, your companionship. I'm not asking for the world. I just want you by my side.
But what about Margaret? We can't let the old girl down, not after all these years.
Oh, you've never loved each other. Not as we did. Not as we do now. We should have taken the plunge years ago.
That's the whole thing. We've left it too late. Yes, there was a time after your Albert died that we might have made a go of it, but not now. We're too set in our ways, and Margaret depends on me too much.
No, Charles. You're wrong. You belong here by my side. I'll never let you go to the day that I die.
Dash it all, Mildred. This has got to stop. All these letters you keep sending me at the club. Damned embarrassing for a chap when his mail stinks of perfume. Other chaps are starting to talk. It's bad form. It won't do. It's got to end.
No, it won't end. You're all I've got left. What if I were to tell Margaret?
Wouldn't do that, would you?
It's time she knew. This weekend.
Mildred, old girl, think what you're saying.
I think it's
Sorry, I didn't mean to bother.
No, Dorothy, do come in. I was just telling Charles that we ought to tell Margaret.
Mildred?
I think she'd be quite amused, don't you, Charles? About the little accident with the elephant.
Yes.
And that, yes, I rescued it just in time. There'd have been a terrible mess.
Yes, I expect there would have been. Tricky beast, come across a lot of them in India, do you know?
Another guest.
Shall I go?
No, you've done enough running around. I'll go and fetch it. Now, won't be long, Charles.
Oh, yes.
Are you all right, Colonel? You look a little pale.
What's, no, just a spot of mental indigestion. Bit of a problem cropped up. Still, nothing we can't put right. Other guests, do I know them?
Oh, you certainly do. They were in Paris. There's Pierre Morceau and Elizabeth Hartley Trumpington.
Marceau. No recollection whatsoever. Foreign chap, is he?
No. Well, he's French. Don't you remember Elizabeth either?
Ah, no, that's a different matter. Pretty young girl.
That's her.
Rather well endowed, as I recall.
Oh.
In the financial sense, of course. Enormous assets.
You remember Dorothy and the Colonel?
Oh, Colonel Braddock, how super to see you again. Mwah. Oh, what a lovely drawing room, Mrs. Dagshot. So quaint.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. I wasn't expecting you and Pierre to arrive together.
Oh, tremendous stroke of luck. I just settled down on the train with a boring old book, and then walked Pierre into the very same compartment.
I have the happy knack of always in the company of beautiful women.
Oh, he's been talking like that all the way. Yes, it certainly brightened up a tedious journey. It was dreadful going through all those industrial areas where the working people live. Yes, it was quite ghastly.
Chap's quite right, of course. Got an eye for the pretty young girl myself. Huh.
Well, one tries one's best to look presentable.
I expect one has to.
Oh, Dorothy, I hadn't noticed you there. Oh, how lovely. You're wearing that little frock that you wore all that time in Paris such a long time ago.
Do sit down, everybody.
Oh, thank you.
Would any of you like a sherry?
Oh, you know me. Ready for a drink any time.
Dorothy, would you mind?
So, what brings you over here, Mr. old chap?
Surely, Charles, you remember Pierre's a painter.
Oh, yes. Thought the place could do with a coat or two.
Charles, really?
What?
I come to sell some paintings, I hope. I stay 2 or 3 weeks, depending on my success.
Oh, right. Get your meaning.
The man's an absolute genius. Simply super.
You flatter me, Elizabeth. Unfortunately, I have to make my money in other people's business. I am what you say, a dealer-wheeler.
I don't know how he can drag himself away from Paris. Such a lovely little town.
Passable. Don't care much for that enormous iron erection. Damn civilised licensing hours, of course.
Oh, and the fashions.
Oh, thank
I
you.
simply have to go to Paris twice a year for the fashions. One can't go around dressed in rags. Can one, Dorothy?
Fashions, can't see the fuss. All a waste of time, if you ask me.
But Colonel, if you will forgive me, that is the trouble with you English. No daring, no sense of adventure.
No lack of daring in the British, old boy. Agincourt, Waterloo, get my point. No point you chaps wearing fancy hats if you keep getting them shot off.
Charles, let's not fall out now.
Just making a point.
I'm sorry if I have offended. I withdraw my words.
Tactical retreat, eh? Now there's something you chaps are good at.
Bunting, ma'am!
What is it, Bunting?
I thought I might have a word, ma'am.
Carry on.
As you like, ma'am.
Where are you going?
To carry on, ma'am.
I meant carry on and tell me.
Oh, normally you say carry on when you want me to carry on with my duties. Therefore, I was carrying on because I thought you wanted me to carry on, ma'am.
Just tell me what it is.
Oh, well, ma'am, there's been a slight accident.
Accident?
In the kitchen, ma'am, with the axe. I'm afraid while I was chopping some wood, the head fell off the axe. At some speed, ma'am. Everything's okay just about, but the dinner is being affected a little bit by the fact that it all went onto the cooker and
the food! Oh, really, Bunt? Go and help her out.
As you like, ma'am.
I knew something was going to go wrong this weekend. I knew it.
Don't worry, old girl. Sure everything will turn out shipshape. Extraordinary fellow you've got there. Was going to borrow him for the shoot, but got second thoughts now. Damn liability.
A shoot? Oh, do you mind if I accompany you, Colonel? I've always wanted to have a go. But Daddy said it's such a dangerous sport for a girl.
Quite welcome, my dear. No danger at all if you know what you're doing. Shall we make an early start, say Reveille at 0600?
No, you can't possibly mean 6 o'clock in the morning, can you?
Of course I do. Early bird and all that sort of thing. You'll need stout shoes and old clothes.
No, well, I haven't got anything like that. It's quite ghastly.
I'm sure Dorothy would lend you something.
No, I think she might. Well, I do hope nobody sees me.
If they do, we'll just have to shoot them. Dead men don't tell tales. Fancy a stroll in the grounds now before dinner.
Oh, what a good idea. Will you join us, Pierre?
If you'll excuse me, I will stay here. I'm very tired after my travels.
Are you sure?
Do not concern yourself. I'll be very happy here.
Come on, Mildred, can't force the fellow. Suppose we'd better see if Margaret wants to come with us.
Very well. We won't be long, Pierre. Help yourself to a drink, won't you?
They have gone for a walk. Have you prepared the dinner?
Oh, it's going to be all right. Not quite the same as it was. I don't think anyone will notice the difference. Just taking a leaf out of your book, Pierre.
I haven't got a book.
No, but you were admiring your paintings.
Ah, yes, I was admiring them, but they're not mine. Such finesse. I wish I had the talent to paint so well.
Oh, I think you're being far too modest. The work of a famous French artist, you said, when you sold them to my aunt.
Oh, of course. They'll be worth many times what your aunt paid for them now.
Oh, I'm sure the originals will. Such a pity that these are forgeries.
What are you saying? You were with your aunt when she purchased them. We had another gallery value them for her.
Ah, yes, and then you switched the originals with your forgeries. You knew my aunt was ignorant about art and that she'd never know the difference.
Dorothy, never have I heard such a cock and cow story. Elizabeth, she can vouch for me. Many times have I dealt with her father.
Well, I don't care twopence for how you've swindled Elizabeth or her father. You must think I'm a fool, Pierre. I may not know much about art either, but I have a very good eye for detail.
Ah, but you're making a very big mistake. I swear, these are the originals.
Oh, well, in that case, you won't mind if I call the police.
Ah, you're wasting your time, Dorothy. You'll make a big fool of yourself. Your aunt, she will never forgive you.
Oh, well, that's just a risk I'll have to take. Hello? Hello?
Oh, wait, put the phone down. Maybe we should talk a little more.
Ah, so I was right. Good. I wasn't quite sure.
So, you have tricked me. What happens now?
Well, that rather depends on you. Let's assume this is your first offence.
It is, I swear.
Well, you shouldn't. It's a very bad habit. Now then, my aunt paid you £2,000?
I gave her a very good price. 1,900.
Oh, you're all heart. Well, now, let's see. Let's say for the price of £5,000, I could have a little lapse of memory about this conversation.
5,000? I haven't got 5,000.
Well, I wouldn't want to embarrass you. As you were so generous to my aunt, I can give you a special price. 4,900. You have a week, and then I call the police.
A week? That is far too short. That is impossible.
Well, that's all you've got, and it's lucky that it's me you're dealing with and not my aunt. I don't think she would have been quite so understanding.
We've abandoned all idea of a walk. It's far too cold out there.
I think Pierre's been finding it rather hot in here, though.
Really? take your jacket off. No need for ceremony amongst friends. The others have gone to change for dinner. The dinner is all right, Dorothy.
Oh, it's going to be fine.
You've seen your paintings have pride of place, Pierre. They
Ah.
do so cheer up the room.
May we, the paintings?
I know I've only had them for a very short time, but how much would you say they're worth now?
Oh, about 2 years, I expect.
Pardon, Dorothy.
I said you've had them about 2 years. Well, Pierre, how much?
It is very difficult. I would think about £5,000.
Really? That much? You see, I told you I had a bargain, Dorothy. She's never really liked them.
Oh, but I am beginning to see their good points now.
And have you brought many paintings for me to look at this time, Pierre?
Oh, I'm afraid not. I have none.
Oh, but surely your luggage in the hall.
Oh, none that are suitable for you. They're already sold.
Oh, to anyone I know?
Thankfully, Dorothy, no.
Oh, what a pity.
Oh, I wasn't expecting anybody else.
I wonder, shall I go?
No, let Bunting. He must earn his keep for a change.
Bunting, ma'am!
Who is it, Bunting?
Bunting, ma'am!
I meant, who is it at the door?
It's Miss Maple, ma'am. I observed her coming up the pathway through the conservatory window.
And you didn't open the door?
Well, I have overheard you say that you think she's a bit of an interfering busybody, and, well, I thought you might want to ignore her, ma'am.
Really, Bunting? You must show her in.
As you like, ma'am.
You could have ignored her. She might have gone away.
Oh, no, we couldn't have done that. She means very well. She lives down the village, you know, when she's there. She's often off on holiday or little trips. And the curious thing is that whenever she goes, something dreadful seems to happen. Somebody seems to get murdered.
They positively drop like flies.
Ah, so we'll all have to be very careful, Dorothy.
Bunting, ma'am!
Now just get on with it, Bunting.
It's Miss Maple.
Thank you, Mr. Bunting. I do hope you don't mind my calling in, Mildred. I didn't realise you had visitors.
It's all right, Joan. You didn't see Colonel Craddock's car in the drive
A
then?
car? Oh, yes, I did. I'm very pleased to meet you, Colonel.
No, Joan, that's Pierre, another of my guests.
I see. How silly. I'm delighted to see you, monsieur.
Bonjour, madame. I'm very happy to meet you also. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must prepare myself for dinner.
Ha, that makes you sound rather like a turkey, Pierre, waiting to be stuffed.
Excuse me, ladies.
Such a delightful young man. His accent rather reminds me of a Belgian gentleman I know. You have several guests staying, Mildred?
Yes, a few friends for the weekend.
Oh, how charming. I do so love a party. And I can't help noticing that delicious smell emanating from the kitchen. I expect you excelled yourself, Dorothy.
Oh, thank you, Miss Maple. You're too kind.
I mustn't keep you. I expect you'll be wanting to spend time with your friends.
Yes.
I have a very small cold collation prepared for myself. I was rather hoping my nephew would call by, but it seems he's too busy. I do find it so dull eating alone. Still, I mustn't keep you. I only called by because I thought Dorothy might be away for the weekend. I hate to think of you on your own up here, Mildred. Still, I have my cold collation.
There's no need to go straight away, Joan. Stay for a little while.
Oh, I couldn't possibly disturb you. I expect you'll be dining soon.
It'll be no trouble.
Oh, I wouldn't like to interrupt.
You wouldn't be.
Oh, very well, as you're so insistent. I assure I have the appetite of a sparrow. God hardly notices I'm here.
You're staying for dinner?
It'd be quite churlish of me to refuse such a delightful invitation.
We'll be eating in half an hour. Excuse me.
Delightful young girl. So reminds me of myself at that age. Quite charming. If I remember correctly, you purchased your paintings from Pierre Marceau.
And never regretted it.
I do so love art.
Damn funny thing just happened. Oh, thanks, me old girl. Didn't realise you'd got company.
It's all right, Charles. This is Miss Maple from the village. Colonel Charles Craddock.
Delighted, Colonel.
My pleasure, Miss...
We were just talking about the paintings, Charles.
what paintings, old girl?
The paintings I bought from Pierre. But of course you've never seen them, have you? You left Paris before Pierre showed us his collection.
Yes, I suppose I must have.
In that case, would you give us your opinion? He considers himself a bit of an art expert.
Oh, I never said that, Mildred. Never been able to afford much myself. Bought one or two for the club, mind. Anyway, let's have a look at them.
Well?
Not bad. Not bad at all. Seen this chap's work before. Quite passable. Damn good copies.
Copies?
Yes, of course. You did know.
No. Yes, of course I knew.
You were saying something funny happened, Colonel.
Was I? Oh yes, dash funny. When we called off the walk, I brought my 12-bore and my old service revolver downstairs for young Elizabeth to have a look at. 12-bore's still there, but the revolver's gone missing.
Oh dear, how very inconvenient.
Inconvenient, damn dangerous if you ask me. Blighter was loaded, could cause a serious accident.
I expect it's one of your friends playing a little joke, Colonel.
Maybe. Don't see the funny side myself. Damned irresponsible meddling with a chap's private things. Could go off at any time. Not cricket.
Well, certainly not. Such a relaxing game, though. My nephew's rather good. A slow left-arm bender, I think he's called.
Spinner, I should think. Used to bowl the odd googly myself. Anyway, mustache, things to do. Thank you.
How very disturbing for the Colonel. Have you known him long, dear? Mildred?
Sorry, did you say something?
I was asking about the Colonel. How long have you known him?
Seems like forever. I had a book somewhere. I think I must have left it in the dining room. Would you excuse me a moment?
I expect he cut a dashing figure in his younger days.
Oh, he certainly did in his fine uniform. The girls used to flock around him. Oh, what did I put? Oh, you gave me quite a start. Oh, so you found your...
Mildred! Mildred!
What is it? What's happened?
It's quite unfortunate, my dear. I seem to bring people such bad luck. Your aunt's been shot. Dead.
Just exactly how long do you intend to keep us waiting, Constable? 30 minutes and absolutely nothing has happened.
Well, I'm sure it won't be long, madam. The Inspector's just familiarising himself with the rest of the house.
Tell me, Constable Tompkins, I was wondering if it might be one of those inspectors with whom I've worked on a previous occasion.
Oh, I very doubt it, Miss Maple. It actually is an acting inspector. Nasty bout of flu down at Milton at the moment, and plain clothes are a bit thin on the ground.
Dear, I do hope they'll all be well quite soon. The influenza can be so inconveniencing.
So, in fact, we have been kept waiting all this time by a sergeant. I don't see the necessity. We gave our statements last night.
Calm down, old girl. Get nowhere trying to rush things. Expect they're just following routine. Got to have routine in the services. Lose your discipline if you don't.
I don't care about anything except till they find out who's killed poor Aunt Mildred. I mean, how could
Yourself
anyone...
down, my dear. Dashed rotten business. Got to keep the old stiff upper lip, eh?
Yes, but she was just lying there and there was blood and there was... Oh!
Perhaps you might get the young lady a drink, Mr. Bunting.
As you like, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Some very pale sherry,
Oh,
Miss Dorothy.
thank you.
That's the ticket. That'll soon calm you down.
Thank you.
Try not to think about it. Best way.
Right. I'll be all right in a moment.
Bullet can do such terrible things to the skull at close range.
Really, Miss Maple, do you have to?
Oh dear, I'm so terribly sorry. How thoughtless of me. It's just that I'm so used to these sort of things. The blood and the brains.
Right. I reckon this'll be the drawing room then.
Have we been kept waiting all this time, Sergeant, just so that you can make such an obvious deduction?
Inspector Pratt. And yes, it was obvious, Mrs. Craddock. That's the way I work. Start with the unmistakable and then proceed to the unmistakable. Was it obvious to any of you that this elephant had recently been roasted? No, I thought not.
More usual for elephants to be poached, old boy. Just trying to lighten up the proceedings.
And you are?
Charles Craddock. Colonel Charles Craddock. Retired.
I see. The wife of Mrs. Craddock here. Is everyone assembled, Thompson?
Tompkins, sir.
Quite.
Yes, they're all here, sir.
Good. Then I'll begin. I should pay attention to this, Thompson. We're a bit more sophisticated down in Milton than out here in the sticks. You might learn something.
Sophisticated, sir, yeah. Is that one F42?
I've assembled you all here to ask you a few questions about the unfortunate and regrettable eventualities of yesterday.
Oh, excuse me, Inspector, but we gave our statements to one of the gentlemen last night.
I'm quite aware of that, but I wanted to see you all myself. You see, a good detective can spot a villain a mile off at close range. You are?
Oh, I'm Elizabeth. I'm Elizabeth Hartley Trumpington.
So, we are all in the very room where Mrs. Bagshot was so cruelly and brutally cut down last night.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Thompson?
Tompkins, sir.
Yes, what is it?
Well, Mrs. Bagshot wasn't in this room at the time, sir. She was in the dining room here, sir, by the door, sir.
I was quite aware of that, Thompson.
Sorry, sir.
As I was saying, the bullet which killed Mrs. Bagshot was fired from this very room. What I would like...
No, excuse me again, sir.
What is it now?
Well, the shot wasn't fired from in this room, sir. The murderer was in the hall, sir, and he shot through the doorway, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. I really don't think we need to be such sticklebacks for detail, Thompson.
Tompkins, sir.
The bullet which killed Mrs. Bagshot passed through this very room
Without
in which we were now assembled?
Absolutely, sir.
First of all, I'd like you to take up the positions in which you were in when the fateful occurrence occurred.
Sake. Make up your mind.
What do you want? Begin.
Where are you all going?
To do as you asked, Sergeant.
They were all elsewhere, sir, apart from one.
Then why did you assemble them in here?
We asked me to, sir. In the lounge, you said, sir.
You trying to make me look a fool, Thompson?
I don't think you need any help with that, sir.
You'll need to back up your ideas if you want to make anything of yourself on the force. For the sake of briefness and brevity, I shall conduct my questioning in here.
Appreciate your effort, Andrew.
So, which one of you was in here when Mrs. Bagshot was so cruelly cut down in her prime?
I fear that would be me, Inspector.
And your name?
Miss Maple.
And your surname, Miss Mabel?
Miss Maple is her surname, sir. She's quite a celebrity down in our village.
Thank you, Thompson.
Tompkins, Inspector.
And the reason for your celibacy?
Oh, it's hardly that, Inspector. It's just that I've been involved in these things many times.
Murder?
Oh, most regrettably, yes, Inspector.
Most regrettable indeed. So, you were the only person alone in this room when the bullet passed through. Did you see anything?
I'm afraid not, Inspector. It was travelling too fast.
As
But
I suspected.
I do remember her last words. I think she must have caught sight of the murderer, because she said, "So you found?" Then the shot was fired. I ran over to her, but on examination she was dead.
Did she say anything?
No, Inspector.
Pity. Thank you, Miss Mabel.
That's quite all right, Inspector. I only wish I could help you just a little more. However, if you wouldn't mind my saying, it would be a little less confusing if you just called me Joan.
Colonel Craddock,
Yes, old boy.
it was your gun that was used to perpetuate the crime to happen.
Afraid so. Some bounder stole it from the hall.
Careless. Very careless indeed. Just checking on the dining room. So, if we piece all that together, what have we got? Thompson.
I don't know, sir. Perhaps Mrs. Bagshot was saying, "So you found your gun," implying she saw the Colonel.
Exactly. I wondered how long that would take you, Thompson. What do you say to that, Colonel?
Preposterous. I was in the lavatory down the hall.
Do you have witnesses?
Of course I don't, man. Chap doesn't take witnesses to the little boy's room. Not unless he's up to no good, of course.
According to the statements, your wife was in her room. What about you, Miss Hartley?
Trumpington. Oh, I was upstairs changing, Inspector. Yes, Pierre had just carried my bags up for me.
Changing. So, you were scantily clad. In your underwear.
Oh, I was quite naked, Inspector.
Pierre, un mysterious stranger. Bonjour, monsieur. Oh, bonjour, inspecteur. Je voudrais être de mon mieux. Yes. Where was-vous when the shirt was fired? Pardon?
Pierre does speak excellent English, Inspector.
Oh, good. In that case, I shall conduct my inquiring questions in English for those not as affluent as I. Where were you when the shot, bang, was fired?
I also was in my room.
I see. So that leaves two unaccounted for. Your name?
Oh, Dorothy Foxton. I live here. I was in the kitchen when I heard the shot.
There is a connecting door from the kitchen to the dining room, sir.
I was quite aware of that, Thompson.
Tompkins, sir.
So, what did you do?
Oh, well, I came out of the kitchen and into the hall, and there was nobody there, so then I came in here, and I found Auntie down there.
Thank you, Miss Foxglove. So that just leaves you.
Bunting, sir.
Yes, I deducted that. The faithful family container. And where were you?
In the cellar, sir. Stock taking.
And where's the cellar?
Down there, sir.
Now, where's the door?
At the end of the hall, sir.
I see. You can show it me later.
As you like, sir. It's just a perfectly ordinary door.
So, where does that leave us, Thompson?
7 possible suspects, sir. Not a corroborated alibi between them.
Look here, Inspector, you can't possibly think it was one of us. Respectable people, dash it.
And you have a better theory, Colonel?
Of course I do. Thought you'd have worked it out for yourself by now. Burglar fella enters house, finds gun, spotted by Mildred, writer shoots her.
That is a possibility, Colonel. Quite a strong possibility.
But Mrs. Bagshot does seem to have recognised her killer, sir.
Which is why I immediately rejected it. Why are you so keen to cast suspicion elsewhere, Colonel? Watching Thompson.
What are you suggesting? Complete balderdash.
So, where do we go from here?
I expect I know where you're leading, Inspector.
You do?
In my experience, it's a most crucial point.
Oh yes, of the utmost cruciality. I'll take over to you, Thompson.
I imagine we're probably looking for a motive, sir.
Well done, Constable.
Very good, exactly what I was thinking. So what was the motive?
I don't know, sir.
There might be a will. Invariably a very good starting place.
Oh, thank you, Miss Mabel. Does anybody know about...
Okay, Thompson, thank you very much. I'll take over now. Is anyone aware of a will?
I think I might be able to help you there, Inspector. Auntie did mention a will to me once, and it's held by the solicitors.
Do you know the terms?
No.
Pity. Anybody else?
Excuse me, your lordship.
Inspector will suffice.
Or Sergeant.
Mrs. Bagshot did once say that if anything happened to her, she'd leave me a small pension. Will that be all right?
I'm afraid that's not up to me. Do you know anything else?
Well, I did once overhear her talking to someone about a will, but I didn't hear any details.
And who is she talking to?
I'd rather not say, sir. I don't want to get anyone into trouble.
Trouble? That's it. That's how I know your face. Some kind of trouble.
If you don't
You
mind,
ever been to
Colonel.
India, Bunting?
Colonel, if you don't mind, I'm asking the questions here. Have you ever been to India, Mr. Bumstein?
No, sir.
Pity. Another dead end.
I think Mr. Bunting was going to tell us about a will, sir.
I know, Thompson, I hadn't forgotten.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Will? Well?
I don't remember, sir.
Don't you remember what?
The question, sir. It's the shock. The legs have turned to jelly.
Come now, don't trifle with me, Mr. Bumstein. You were going to tell us... Thompson.
Who knew about the will, sir?
Very good, just checking. Well?
It was Miss Dorothy, sir.
Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Why haven't you mentioned this before?
Because my name isn't Dorothy.
I realise that, Mrs. Craddock. Don't underestimate me. I hadn't mentioned it to you earlier, Miss Foxglove, because I thought you were already too upset. However...
You did actually, sir.
When?
A minute ago, and she denied all knowledge.
Well done, Thompson. You're getting the hang of this now, aren't you? Very good. So why did you lie, miss?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I was frightened. It's just that Auntie mentioned that she would leave the largest portion of her estate to me in the will, and I thought you'd suspect me.
Oh, it hardly surprises me, Inspector. I had my suspicions from the very start.
Oh, but I didn't do it. I didn't kill her. Oh, you've got to believe me.
Oh, I believe you, my dear.
Fortunately, Mrs. Marbles, I am not so gullible. Miss Foxglove had a strong motive, and what's more, a very good reason. She was in the kitchen, which made it easy for her to stealthily steal into the hall, where she stole the gun. Shortly after stealing the gun, she stole slyly to the doorway and shot the shot which got Miss Shogbot. Bogshot.
But I didn't!
I think that wraps things up nicely. Thompson, charge her.
Pardon, sir?
Charge her, then we can take her down the station.
Can I have a word, please?
What is it? I don't think we can charge her, sir. We don't have any real evidence.
What's wrong with you, man? You can soon make some up.
Yeah, but what if it doesn't stick?
Of course it will. When I finish with her, she'll be like putty in my hands.
I was only thinking about your reputation, sir.
What?
Well, if we can't make a real case.
That'll be all for now. Don't leave the house. I may have further interrogations and questions later.
But what about me?
That goes for you as well, Miss Foxglove, especially for you.
It's ridiculous. Don't leave the house, indeed. I shall be reporting you, Sergeant.
Would anyone care for a pot of tea? I always find it calms the nerves.
I wonder if I could have a word, old boy. Somewhat confidential.
Yes, Colonel.
Delicate matter and all that. A bit tricky. Wouldn't want my wife to get wind.
I see. She has a history. Wind.
Oh, no, you misunderstand me, old boy. Can I rely on your discretion?
Oh, naturally, Colonel. Anything you say will go no further than my ears.
Thing is, I do know a bit about the will. Mildred said she was going to leave me £5,000.
I hardly think that amount need concern us, Colonel.
Bit more to it, old boy. If I should happen to survive Dorothy, her share of the estate is to pass to me. Bit unlikely, I know, but...
That would be a great deal, sir. Why leave it to you?
Well, that's the delicate part. We were close friends.
Yes, but she must have had many friends.
Some, yes, but over the years we developed a very close relationship. A liaison.
An affair, sir.
Oh, no, I wouldn't put it like more sort of, yes.
So how long has this affair been
Do you
going?
mind, Thompson?
Oh, close on 30 years. Died down a lot over recent years, of course. I hate my wife to find out. I wouldn't want to upset the old apple cart, if you get my meaning.
No reason why she should, Colonel. We're all men of the world.
Dashed grateful. I think that's about everything. Made a clean breast of it. Any objection if I take a stroll outside? Enough to check a chap's head spinning.
As long as you don't leave the grounds, Colonel.
Jolly good show. Glad we understand each other. Miss Maple!
We'll deal with this, sir.
Never seen anything like it. Can't a chap have some privacy?
I hope you weren't doing what I thought you might be doing there, Miss Maple.
Certainly not, Inspector. I was just returning to retrieve my knitting.
Oh.
Ah, there. Would either of you care for a tea cake?
Oh, I wouldn't say no, Mrs. Maple. That's very kind of you.
And I expect the Inspector would like one as well. I won't be a moment.
So, what do you make of it so far then, sir?
I don't know. It's a tricky one, Thompson. So many suspects and not a corrugated alibi between them. The woman that just left, the so-called Mabel Marbles, she worries me. Obviously not her real name. Why is she so keen to be called Mrs. Jones?
No, her name is Miss Maple, sir.
Really? Or was that just another alias? By her own confession, she's murdered before.
No. I think she just solves them, sir.
And Colonel Craddock, does he know more than he's saying?
Well, I doubt it. And if he was guilty, why would he tell us so much in the first place?
Easy. As soon as he saw me, he realised he'd have to come clean. He's used to dealing with trained men. He recognised my ruthless, relentless streak and realised I'd leave no stone unturned in the pursuit of justice.
I see, sir.
Strange he should mention this Mildred woman. We'll need to check her out, see where she fits into all this.
She's been murdered, sir. She's dead.
What, another one? My God, Thompson! It makes you shudder to think how far some people will go. Still, I don't think it's important, no. I've got a gut feeling Dorothy Foxtrot's our man.
Our woman, sir.
What?
Dorothy Foxton's our woman, sir.
Ah, exactly, Thompson. I wondered how long it would take you before you came round to my way of thinking.
No, that's what I meant, sir. You see, you said that... It doesn't matter, sir. Anyway, I think there might be still 1 or 2 stones left unturned, sir.
Are you trying to be funny, Thompson?
No, sir.
Good. It doesn't suit you.
Oh, sorry, sir.
I have your tea cakes.
Oh, thank you very much.
I do hope you like strawberry jam.
It's my
It's
favourite.
rather my favourite too.
Oh.
Not while we're on duty, Thompson.
Pardon, sir.
We've got an image to maintain, man. If you want something to do, go and fetch the gun. It's in my car.
Oh, all right, sir.
Oh, do something with this.
Right, sir.
Important evidence. We can't leave it lying around. When Thompson comes back, I'd like to try a little experiment. See if we can't jog your memory, Miss Marbles. Or should I call you Mrs. Jones?
Oh, I must say I'm delighted to find that you've really eliminated me from your inquiries, Inspector.
I eliminate and discount nobody.
In that case, Inspector, you really should be more careful. Because I could just have eliminated you.
I think not. I'm a highly trained fighting machine.
And I've come across many cases of poisoning. A most disastrous death. I always find it such an underhand method.
About time, Thompson. Yes. I intend to try an old and trusted technique to see if we can't get Mrs. Marbles to recall or remember some more about the event. A reconstitution. You be Miss Bagshot, Thompson, and I'll be the killer.
Would you like me to play myself?
Good idea.
I've got Miss Bagshot's last words written down in my notebook here, sir.
Oh, I believe Mildred said she was going into the dining room to find a book.
Ah, already the plot sickens.
And you should be in the hall, Inspector.
I know, I was going.
I'll go into the dining room to fetch a book. Ah! You gave me such a shock! Oh, so you found... Ow!
Very careless, Inspector. You shot Constable Tompkins.
This is absolutely absurd. What is the point of keeping us cooped up here?
I expect the Inspector will have more questions for us upon his return.
Questions? That idiot wouldn't know a sensible question if one fell out of the sky and landed in his mouth.
With that, I would have to agree.
Why don't you do something about it, Charles? Charles! Charles!
Right, Brownlee, charge! Oh, must have nodded off. Damn tricky moment there. We were completely surrounded. French butlers, I think they were.
Why don't you do something about it?
Oh, there's nothing much we could do. We were completely outnumbered.
To get us out of here! 2 hours we've been waiting and nothing has happened.
Oh, I expect someone will be along eventually. Due process and all that.
Well, it's not as if we don't know who did it.
But I didn't do it. Why won't anybody believe me?
Come along, Charles. You're going to make a phone call.
Am I? Who to?
The police. Someone in authority. They can't keep us hanging around in here.
They probably can, actually.
I'm not arguing, Charles. We'll use the phone upstairs. In private. Come along! Charles!
Coming, old girl.
And stop calling me old girl.
Oh, right. Right, old girl.
Well, Dorothy, it would seem your little scheme is come a little unglued.
What scheme?
To kill your aunt and have her money. The police, they suspect you.
No, but they can't prove anything.
I can give them all the information they need to hang you. I was passing by the top of the stairs. I saw you fire the shot.
But that's not true.
It matters. They will believe. I will say I did not come forward earlier because I was so fond of you. But now I've realized my duty.
But why, Pierre?
You have made my life a misery. Your accusations about the paintings.
Oh, well,
But of course, we could come to an arrangement.
well, I wasn't serious about paintings. I mean, I wouldn't have kept all the money. I just wanted enough to reimburse my aunt. I wanted to frighten you, but I didn't want you to go to prison.
Your motives matter little now.
But why, Pierre?
Be quiet, Dorothy. It is your turn to listen. You are now a wealthy woman. What I propose is simple. You give me £20,000 and ignore the matter of the paintings and I will forget what I saw. It is as easy as that.
Oh, really? That simple?
But of course I knew you would see reason.
Fine. It's time for you to listen to me, Pierre. I was wrong about you. I should have gone straight to the police instead of playing games. When they get back, I'm going to tell them everything I know.
But Dorothy, I will have to tell them what I saw.
Oh, and why should they believe you? You're nothing but a cheap conman. You're pathetic.
Damn! Blast!
Oh, that sounded extremely English.
And it was about to get a lot more Anglo-Saxon. And will you stop using that ridiculous accent, Lizzie? Scared the life out of me.
Needs to be a bleeding habit, doesn't it? Did it work then?
What do you think? She's going to tell the police everything.
Good! You bleeding blew it!
I did everything you said. We're going to have to get out of here fast.
Oh, well, what good would that do? They get us before we got 5 mile. I've told you before! There's only one way out!
We can't kill her.
Well, why not? Interfering bitch! You weren't bothered about Bagshot.
Oh, well, she was different.
Oh, why? Here, you going soft? Do you fancy her or something?
Nah, of course not.
Well, she's the only thing standing in our way. If she spills the beans, we're finished. Oh, God. We had it perfect. I find the rich old fools. You relieve them of their money. Why spoil all that?
No, I don't know. I need time to think.
Well, we ain't bleeding got time to think.
Perhaps you'd care to join us for afternoon tea later, Mrs. Craddock.
Oh, Pierre, it's just so ghastly. How could anyone do such a thing to such a dear old lady? Ah, Miss Maple, we were just talking about Mrs. Bagshot.
Quite tragic. Such a sad loss. I partly blame myself. I seem to bring such bad luck. Do sit down. I do so love a cosy chat.
Oh, you'll have to excuse us, Miss Maple. We were just going for a walk around the grounds. Yes, I find it so claustrophobic being kept in here.
A walk? Oh, what a great idea. Would you mind very much if I joined you?
Oh, that would be delightful.
I don't quite as briskly as I used to, but the countryside is so pleasant at this time of the year. My nephew often escorts me when he has the time.
How wonderful.
Are you all right, my dear?
Thank you, Pierre. Oh, no, just a slight fainting fit. I'll be fine in a moment, as I have them rather often. Perhaps Pierre might take me to my room in a moment.
It would be my pleasure.
Oh, hello everybody! How you doing?
Why, Mr. Bunting, I do believe you've been drinking.
Oh, not a wee drop.
Would you like a wee swig?
Oh, I don't think so. Most kind. I really think you should sit down.
I don't want to. I'm subrillating. This is the happiest day of my life.
Oh, I don't think you mean that, Mr. Bunting.
Oh, yes I do. I'm subrillating. Why am I subrillating?
I really don't know, Mr. Bunting.
That's funny. Neither do I. Oh, hello, Miss Stuck-up. Oh, Frenchy. Would you like a wee drink?
No, monsieur.
No. Oui. No.
I know what it is.
I'm rich. 'Cause she's dead. That's why I'm subrillating. I'm rich. That's why I'm subrillating.
There he is, Charles. Disgusting.
Oh, hello, gorgeous.
Get him out of here, Charles, before he breaks something.
Do your best. Come on, old boy.
Oh, I don't like you.
Good God, that's Napoleon brandy. Recognise it anywhere.
Does it matter?
Of course it matters. Damn waste. Come on, old boy, can you walk?
Of course I can walk. I can walk anywhere I want to.
Never seen anything like it.
Oh, get into his room, Charles. Out of the way.
I'll make him a nice pot of tea. It always sobers me enormously.
Well, what do you think then?
I don't know, I suppose you're right.
Well, of course I'm right. But we're going to have to do it straight away. If we're lucky, we can find that drunken old fool. And the state he's in, we can get away with murder.
Oh, it's all right, Bunting. I'll sort it out later.
Oh, Dorothy, how lovely to see you again.
Oh, it looks so Bunting's enjoying himself. Maybe you should have a last drink, Pierre. You may not get another one for a very long time.
Oh, Pierre, are you going away? Oh, how exciting. Somewhere exotic?
Oh, I don't think it could be described as exotic, do you, Pierre? Very cheap, though. There's something you ought to know about Pierre, Elizabeth, and I need a little insurance by telling someone.
Oh, how intriguing.
These paintings are forgeries. He tricked my aunt. Oh, he'll try to deny it, but I have all the evidence I need, and I've written a full statement, and it's under lock and key in the safe. Oh, Pierre, I hope you weren't thinking of doing anything silly. There's no way out, not now that Elizabeth knows.
Oh, Pierre, this is ghastly. Is it true?
Oh, it's true, all right. I believe he also sold paintings to your father, Elizabeth. I wouldn't be surprised if they were forgeries too. He really ought to check, you know.
That's the trick, Miss Maple. Plenty of hot drinks down him. Oh, Elizabeth. Got the fellow down there at last. A terrible thing is drink. Anyone care to join me for one? Well, please yourselves. Of course, the chap's drunk all the decent stuff. Shouldn't really drink alone, you know. Leads to melancholy. All damn quiet in here. Anything the matter?
Oh, no, Colonel. It's just so difficult to be enthusiastic under the circumstances.
Oh, quite, yes. Well, a glass of this wouldn't do you any harm. I expect you know a thing or two about drinking, eh, Mr. Land of the Vineyard and all that?
Oh, me, we grow some of the best wines in the world. But I believe good wine should be drunk in moderation too. tantalise the palate.
Really? Strange attitude. Still, each to his own, I suppose.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some things to attend to.
Oh, don't stray too far, Pierre.
No, Dorothy, I won't.
Odd chap. Something damn suspicious about him. Foreign. Eyes too close together.
No, he's not what he seems, Colonel.
Really? Thought not. Still, suppose none of us are, really. Take me, for example. Been doing a spot of thinking since poor old Mildred. Trying to make a change. Life's too short for pretending.
Oh, you don't pretend anything, Colonel. You're one of the most honest people I know.
Don't you believe it, my dear? All up front. Wasted my life. Never achieved a thing.
What about all your adventures and your travels to India?
Adventure. Joined the army because I had to. Family tradition. Soon realised I wasn't up to it. Damn coward, you see. My father pulled a few strings, made sure I spent all my time sitting behind a desk.
But what about all your stories about India?
Only been there once. For 2 weeks. Started making up little stories, make myself seem a bit more interesting. Told them so many times. Started to believe them myself. Couldn't stop. Only Margaret knew the truth. And poor old Mildred, of course. So you see, I'm not all I seem either. Nothing but a fake.
Oh, you're not a fake, Colonel. I know a fake when I see one.
Knew this stuff would start to make me melancholy. Anyway, here's to Mildred, wherever she is.
Dorothy, I wonder if you'd like to come up to my room. I have a little present for you. Some perfume.
Oh, for me?
Oh, yes, I know we haven't always hit it off, but I really would like us to be friends. Would you like to come up?
Oh, but I better just wait with...
Oh, you two get off. Don't want to hang around listening to an old duffer like me.
Oh, all right then. But you're not an old duffer. My aunt was very fond of you.
Come along, Thompson. It's only a scratch. Good afternoon.
Is it all right if I sit down for a moment, sir? I'm feeling rather faint.
Faint? I don't know what's wrong with you, man. Superficial flesh wound. Oh, I've had worse than a flea bite. Oh, go on then, 2 minutes and then you're back on the job.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I think why you brought the fella back here. He ought to be resting. You don't want gangrene to set in.
Oh, I'll be all right, sir. It's just the inspector thought I ought to keep it moving.
Maybe you weren't moving a bit faster a couple of hours ago. I missed you.
I've had full weapons training, Colonel. I never miss.
Damn it all. Sounds as if you meant to shoot the poor blighter. Foolhardy, if you ask me.
But I don't ask you. And might I remind you that you're still under suspicion of being a suspect? Wait, well, sir.
What? Like him?
We'll be upstairs, Inspector.
Very good, miss.
Actually, I just wanted a quick word with the inspector before I go. Hello, Bagshot House? Yes, he is. It's for you, Inspector.
Ah, that'll be for me. Who is it?
It's the Deputy Chief Constable.
Are you sure he wanted me? Did he mention my name? It might be for Thompson.
Well, his exact words were, "Is the idiot who's in charge of the investigation still there?"
It is for you, sir.
Pratt? No, not you, sir. I'm Pratt. Yes, very apt, sir. Well, it's only a scratch, really, sir. Yes, same weapon, sir. Complaint? But I'm very close to an arrest. About an hour, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Hello? Sir? Hello? Well, perhaps if you've got your fat bottom out of your chair once in a while, then maybe... Oh, hello, sir. I think you've gone, sir. Yes, sir. Certainly, sir.
He sounded on good form, sir.
Good form? Yes, he was. He's very pleased with progress. Unfortunately, it would seem someone has sought fit to complain. On your foot, Thompson. I want to get it wrapped up once and for all. It would seem that you're not doing your job properly, Thompson. Incompetent. be you, Colonel, was it, who thought fit to complain?
As a matter of fact, old boy, I did make the odd call.
Ah. Troublemaker. Keep an eye on him, Thompson.
No need to take it personally, old boy. I wasn't casting aspersions. I merely said that things seem to be dragging a bit this end, and could they speed things up yours?
Speed things up? Oh, speed things up so much, sure. When you're jolly well wish they weren't. What do you say to that, Colonel Haddock?
Oh no, it's you again, Sergeant.
Inspector!
Really? Got the impression from the call you were probably down to constable by now.
Thompson, if the Colonel opens his mouth again, book it!
Yes, sir. What for, sir?
Anything you like, man. Use your imagination. Disturbing the police, loitering with a tent.
May I inquire how long you intend to keep us here, Sergeant? I really don't see the necessity. I'd quite like to get away before you shoot someone else.
Mrs. Haddock, please don't push me further. You can learn from this, Thompson. You'll come across all sorts of provocation, but you must always keep a cool, clear, empty head. Otherwise, you'll cease to function as a finely tuned crime detection machine. I learnt that from my 20 years on the force.
How many constables have you shot in that time?
Book him, Thompson! Book him!
Might I have a word now, Inspector?
No, you may not! I'm in charge. Sit down. God.
Good afternoon, Inspector. How pleasant. And Constable Tompkins, too. I do hope your foot isn't giving you too much distress.
Not too bad at the moment, Miss Maple. It's a bit throbbing at the moment, though.
I expect so. Bullet wounds can be quite troublesome. I always recommend a poultice of cold tea for any open wound.
Really? My Auntie Doris swears by boiled cabbage.
Thompson, do you mind?
Oh, sorry, sir.
Right, I'd like to continue by...
I'd really like some details of that cabbage preparation, Constable. Perhaps you could give it to me later.
Oh, yes.
I'd like to continue by...
Mind you, the price of vegetables can be quite prohibitive at this time of the year. Fortunately, I've got a small vegetable plot.
Mrs. Marbles,
Yes, Inspector.
might I be allowed to carry on?
Oh, yes, I'd be so interested in your next line of inquiry.
Thank you. I'd like to continue
But
by...
just before you recommence, only a certain matter had completely slipped my mind. I wonder if I might inquire if you and the constable would join us for afternoon tea. I phoned Mr. Coupling in the village and he's going to deliver. He really does make exceedingly fine cream fancies.
Is that all?
I seem to have upset you. Perhaps you would have preferred an individual fruit tart.
I live in hope that we will be finished here long before tea time. Now I'd like to continue by conducting another small experiment. Thompson, fetch the gun.
You're not fetching that thing in here with me, Sergeant.
Rest assured, madam, there'll be no more incendiary incidents. I think Thompson has learnt his lesson.
Where is the gun, sir?
I don't know, I gave it to you.
I don't think so. I was holding my foot at the time, if you remember.
I can confirm that. I have a very good memory for detail.
In that case, I must have left it in the dining room.
Oh, very good, sir.
It occurs to me that the bullet which perpetrated Miss Bogshot clean between the eyes was either an expert one or a lucky one.
Hardly lucky for her, old boy.
Have any of you handled a gun before?
Well, I have, obviously.
Obviously. And why should that be so obvious, Colonel?
Well, I was in the army, of course.
Really? Why have you kept that such a secret? What great matter do you claim?
Dash it all, man. It's general knowledge.
Ah, so you were a general, Colonel.
Don't talk balderdash, man. I was a colonel.
Then why try to deceive me? Why are you trying to confuse me with Red Haddock's Colonel Herring?
It's not there, sir.
What? It must be.
Damn careless, if you ask me. It wasn't still loaded, was it?
Loaded? Of course not. Do you take me for a fool, Colonel?
Oh, I have a sense of foreboding. I think we might all be in terrible danger, Inspector. There's no telling the actions of an unhinged mind.
Nonsense. No danger at all. Perfectly safe. Still, I think I've got about as far as I can here. You take over, Thompson. I need to get back to the station. Damned paperwork.
Can I have a word, please, sir?
What now, Thompson? I'm a very busy man.
Well, it's important. Well, in private, if we may, please, sir.
Would you all mind waiting out in the hall for a moment, please?
What is it? I think the killer may have played into our hands, sir.
Oh, quite so, Thompson. A madman on a rampage with a gun. We've got him just where he wants us.
Yes. Well, I think we should send them all to their rooms, and then you announce that you're going to inspect and search their rooms.
I walk into the Lion's Burrow and find the killer with a gun pointing at my head.
Exactly. But my guess is whoever's got the gun will panic, and they'll probably try and get rid of the gun. And have you noticed all their bedrooms face the front of the house? They'll probably try and throw it out the window.
Ah, yes.
I thought I might take a hobble out to the front of the drive.
What for?
Well, see where the gun comes from.
Has its merits, I suppose. Tell you what, you search the rooms, I'll keep a lookout. We wouldn't want you getting your foot cold, would we? Off you go, Tompkins.
Thompson, sir.
Right. Would you all now please retire to your rooms? Straight away, please. Thank you.
It's a bit of work, man.
Oh, Inspector!
Miss Foxhunt.
At last, I've got you alone.
Yes?
I have a confession to make. A score to settle. It's time for retribution.
Please, there's really no need. We could do a deal.
A deal? What sort of deal?
Anything you like. You could just walk out of here if you want. I won't say anything. I'll pretend I haven't seen you. You can borrow my car.
No, I must finish it now.
No, please, Miss Foxhole, please don't do it. I'm just a poor copper trying to get through to retirement. I wasn't hurt to fly. Think of my family, the two little twats. I won't tell anyone you're the murderer.
But I'm not the murderer. I have some other information for you. Oh, excuse me, this is all so upsetting.
Not the murderer.
No, Inspector.
Quite so. I was a bit concerned about this rather nasty stain on your carpet. I think you'll find that plenty of hot water should do the trick. Now, about this other matter of yours. Does your information concern the identity of the brutal killer and murderer?
Well, no, not
No,
exactly.
then it can wait. I'm a very busy man. Even as I speak, I'm in the middle of a daring plan to thrash out the miscreant.
But this information is
Surely your information can wait 5 minutes, Miss Foxglove.
Oh, all right, I suppose so. 5 minutes. Okay. Right. Oh, and I'm sorry I frightened you earlier.
Frightened? Don't be deceived, Miss Foxhole. That was just a cunning ploy to lure you into making a one for it. I think I can eliminate you from further inquiries. Coming, Thompson. Ready or not? So, you all maintain that when the shots were fired, you were in your rooms?
Except for me, old boy. I just nipped outside for a spot of air.
Me, sir. I was in the downstairs lavatory.
I'm quite aware of that, Thompson. It's a pity you weren't out of there a bit faster.
Sorry, sir, but I would have been, but it was a bit difficult. When I opened the door, the colonel was there with a gun in a firing position, and I thought my number was up.
What number?
No, it's just a saying, sir.
Can you explain, Colonel?
Oh yes, simple really. It's the same as I thought I'd had it, or had my chips.
No, why you had the gun?
Oh, I see. Oh, I get you, old boy. I rushed in, saw the gun lying there, picked it up.
And that's when I saw him, sir.
Yes, I'm quite aware of that, Thompson.
Sorry, I was just trying to clarify events.
When I want clarity, I'll ask for it. I usually manage without.
Oh.
Ow! Did you see anyone else, Colonel?
They were all on the stairs, with the exception of the butler chap.
It was all very confusing, Inspector. Suddenly we were on the stairs. I remember calling to Mrs. Craddock.
Do you recall what you called when you were calling?
Oh, it was quite difficult. I think it was... There's another one gone! Quite tragic. And if you hadn't mislaid the gun, Inspector...
You were in your room in the basement, Butler Bumsting.
I wasn't feeling very well. I think I must have caught something.
Too much drink, if you ask me.
And you didn't hear the shots?
I didn't hear a thing. I think I must have dropped off.
Dropped off what?
He was virtually unconscious on his bed when I checked on him, sir.
I'm really not feeling at all well. I think it might be the flu. I'm going to have to... It's rather urgent.
That'll be the phone.
Bagshot House, Constable Tompkins speaking. Oh, hello, sir, yes. Oh, yes, I'm feeling a bit better, thank you very much, yes. Sergeant? Yes, he's here. I'll just get him for you, hold on. It's for you, Sarge. Deputy Chief Constable.
Right, sir. Yes, I'm afraid so, sir. But it wasn't exactly under my nose. Yes, sir, same weapon. Immediately? But, sir... Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
He didn't sound too happy, Sarge.
No, he wasn't, Thompson. You're going to be in very hot water over this. I want to get things cleared up once and for all. We haven't got long. I'm wanted back at the station. Another important case.
Well, don't let us detain you, old boy.
Not so fast, Colonel. There's one thing that's been playing on my mind. Mrs. Marbles, you said that before Miss Bogshot was shot, she went into the dining room looking for a book.
Yes, Inspector.
Well, I've taken the trouble to interrogate the bookcase. And there was one book which caught my eye, separate from the rest. And I believe it's in this book the answer to our mystery lies. The Art of Macrame. Does that mean anything to any of you? You disappoint me. I felt sure that this book held the key. The key! If I'm not mistaken, this key holds the key. At a guess, I'd say it's the key to the front door.
I think you'll find it's a safe key, Inspector.
Oh, quite so, Mrs. Marbles. Why should we anticipate danger from a mere key?
No, Inspector. The key to the safe.
The safe? Precisely what I was thinking. If you'll bear with me but a moment, I will unlock the proverbial Pandora's box. Where's the safe, Thompson?
I don't know, Sarge.
I believe I know, Inspector. Perhaps you'll allow me the honour of assisting you?
Oh, thank you, monsieur.
Sarge?
Stop fussing, Thompson. It's a pity you don't show that sort of initiative.
I think you'll find the contents of the safe quite unimportant, Inspector. I believe I know the identity of the murderer.
You do?
Yes, in my experience, this is the typical and particular case that I usually see.
Quite so, Mrs. Marbles. Please continue. I suspect that your suspicions will confirm the suspicions which I already suspect.
Well, I believe that Mrs. Bagshot had a half-brother of Romanian nationality. Rejected by his family, he took refuge in Albania, where he mixed with dubious company. He had an illegitimate daughter by the name of Ilana. Scorned and rejected by the whole family for many years, they plotted to gain revenge and inherit a fortune. It is my belief that Mr. Bunting is that man, and Elizabeth is his daughter.
That's an absolutely ridiculous suggestion. You can't possibly believe that.
But I do. As a matter of fact, it is a line of investigation I too have been following. Would you care to reveal your proof, Mrs. Marbles?
I'm afraid that won't be possible, Inspector.
Come now, don't be so modest.
But I have none.
What?
I was merely postulating. Usually on my revelations, the murderer breaks down and confesses. On this occasion, I seem to have failed.
You mean you made it up?
Absolutely, Inspector. I thought it was worth a try.
Mrs. Marbles, do you realise the seriousness of your rash pustule? I could have you charged with something very serious indeed.
Inspector, I bring unfortunate news. The safe, it was empty except for a little money. A mere trifle.
Oh, pity. I had such high hopes. And I'd better hold on to this. It could be important.
No sign of a will, I suppose.
Oh, Thompson, I think we've exhausted all the possibilities with regards to the will.
No, but things have changed now, Sarge. The Colonel inherits the estate.
Does he? Do you?
So it would seem, old boy.
What? Charles, what are you saying?
No doubt a surprise. But then you weren't aware of the long-standing affair between your husband and the late Miss Bookshot.
Affair? With Mildred? I can assure you, Sergeant, my husband has had no affairs. Not even with me. Tell him, Charles.
Afraid I can't, old girl. It's true.
No, stop it now, Charles.
This is really too much, Sergeant. I gave you information in the strictest confidence.
Regrettable, but inevitable. Another crime has been perpetuated. Over a great many years, your husband had a lustful, sinful, pestilent affair with the late Miss Bogshot. She made certain provisions in her will. On the death of Miss Foxhole, Colonel Cudling becomes major beneficiary.
Oh, how could you do it, Charles? How could you do it to me?
Well, I think that concludes the investigation.
Are you sure, Sarge?
No doubt Thompson. Major beneficiary came here with the express intent of killing both ladies of the house. He did so with ruthless cunning, expecting to outwit the forces of the law. Unfortunately, for him, he didn't count on me.
This is preposterous.
I think not, Major. You were close to the crime on both occasions. Before Miss Bogshot was shot, she was heard to say, "So you found." As I deducted at the time, she was about to say, "Your gun, the gun which you were holding."
No, actually, I deduced that, Sarge.
Stop trying to be clever, Thompson.
Tompkins,
Miss Foxhole's last words were, "He's trying to kill me." He, you again, Major. Neither Mr. Marseillaise or Butler Bumsting had anything to gain by killing her. Charge him, Thompson.
Right.
You accuse me of incompetence, Major. Were the first to cast nasturtiums against me. Perhaps now you will see how incompetent I really am.
My husband may be an adulterer, Sergeant, but you're very wrong about one thing.
I think not. I'm really, really wrong.
My husband wasn't the only man with a motive for killing Dorothy. Ask Pierre, or perhaps I should say Peter. When my husband was phoning your superior, I came downstairs. I overheard Pierre and Elizabeth talking about Dorothy. She had some kind of evidence against them. They were planning to kill her.
What a ridiculous suggestion! How can you say such a thing?
Oh, you can't possibly believe her, Inspector. The poor woman's completely deranged. She's in shock. She's trying to protect her husband.
Oh, and you need not continue with those phony accents any longer. He is no more French than you are, Sergeant. And she's a common slut.
I will not stay and listen to this nonsense any longer.
Hang on, miss. I think these two have got some explaining to do, Sarge.
Oh, I think I might be able to help. Mildred was rather concerned. Something to do with those paintings.
Not real paintings, of course. They're copies. He supplied them.
They're in it together.
So the thick plotters yet again. What are your real and proper names?
Oh, this is all a ghastly misunderstanding here. You don't have to say anything.
Oh, it's no use, Lizzie. I'll tell you everything, Inspector.
Fool! Well, you're not having me!
Oh, Thompson!
Let go! You can't prove a thing!
Well done, Bunting. Arrived in the nick of time. A bit like the old Keystone cops, eh, Sarge?
Hold on to her, Major. Pull yourself together, Thompson. You were saying, Mr. Marseillaise.
Lizzie and I, we worked together. 2 years ago, we sold some paintings at Mrs. Bagshot. Well, before delivery, we swapped them for these here copies.
So why did you come in this weekend?
To sell us some more paintings. But when we arrived, Dorothy, she tried to blackmail us. She seemed to know what we'd done.
So you mortally killed her?
Oh, we haven't killed anybody.
I think that's for me to decide.
I told Mildred these were copies. Blighter must have overheard us.
You incurably killed them both to save your own skins.
We haven't hurt anyone.
I don't think that'll wear in a court of legal law. You need to be more careful. You know what puts me onto you? When you returned and claimed there was a trifle in the safe. The wamblings of a madman. And so I conclude my conclusions. A classically conducted investigation of a case that will be recorded in the annals of most criminal crime. 2 young innocents murdered to death. Take him out, Thompson. Our man handle Miss Hardley trumping.
How shocking! They seem such fine young people. It never fails to amaze me the depths to which the human spirit can sink.
Knew the fellow looked suspicious. Tell him a mile off.
I shall instruct Bunting to fetch my bags downstairs.
Hang on a moment, old girl. I can explain.
I think you better give her time, Colonel. Time is a great healer of wounds, mental or physical.
Well, she's never been much of a one for patience. Hard to explain to a woman how a chap feels. Dashed awkward. You see, women aren't a bit more like chaps. Make life a lot simpler.
I expect you could stay here, Colonel. After all, this will all belong to you.
Can't even think about it at the moment. Too damn confused. Own fault. Shouldn't have carried on with Mildred. Bad form.
Oh, you mustn't be too harsh on yourself. We all have our little weaknesses. Affairs. The sensuous curve of a young girl's breast. The half glimpse of a virgin's thigh.
I shall take the car, Charles. You may make your own arrangements. I'll have your things delivered to the club. You'll be hearing from my solicitor.
Just a moment, Margaret. No need to go off in a huff like that. Sit down. We can have a bit of a chinwag.
There is nothing to discuss.
But, old girl.
Don't you dare call me old girl. 35 years we've been married, Charles, and from day one it's been old girl this and old girl that.
But you never complained. Too much. Thought you were reasonably happy.
Content, was that all I deserved? Content?
Didn't realise you expected more.
God, I don't know what Mildred saw in you. Or were you different with her?
I don't think so.
I'll bet this is where you came on all those important reunions. Giving her everything you should have given me. A little love, a little understanding. And all that time, all these years I've been trapped. Do you realise what that's done to me, Charles?
You do seem a spot upset.
There was no way out. Until now. Do you realise you're suddenly very wealthy? I'm going to squeeze every last penny out of you, Charles. What do you say to that?
Sorry.
You're pathetic, Charles. Pathetic.
I'll make it up to you. Scout's honour and all that. I don't know where I'd be without you.
It's too late. Much too late. I've got everything I came here for.
What do you mean you've got everything you came here for?
That's not important now.
What do you mean?
Out of my way, Charles. I'm leaving.
You knew about your husband and Mildred before you came here.
That's not important now. It's irrelevant.
And I suspect you also knew about the will.
So what if I did?
I've been so stupid. So if you overheard Pierre and Elizabeth plotting to kill Dorothy, why didn't you say so straight away? You wanted her dead.
Oh, you're very clever. Yes, I wanted her dead, but I didn't kill her.
But you killed Mildred. That's what she was trying to say. So you found your husband's gun.
That's quite enough. Margaret wouldn't be capable of harming anyone. She wouldn't know how to.
Even now, you underestimate me.
Margaret, you don't know what you're saying.
Yes, I do. Yes, I did kill Mildred.
No.
That shocks you? Good. I found out about you and Mildred from one of your so-called friends at the club. He even sent me some of your letters. I found out about the will. It was my big chance. Suddenly, I could divorce a wealthy man.
But the estate was left to Dorothy.
Unfortunately, I only got half the story. I didn't find out that part until we arrived here.
So then you realised that Dorothy had to die.
Quite. I was going to leave it for a respectable time, but then I had a stroke of luck. I overheard Pierre and Elizabeth planning to kill her. It was perfect. All I had to do was sit and wait.
They would kill her for you.
Ah, you're not quite so clever as you thought, Miss Maple. They didn't kill her.
But it wasn't you. She said, he's trying to kill me.
And so he was.
Who?
Me.
Mr. Bunting? But why?
Charles was quite right. He had seen Robert somewhere before. In my bed.
Bunting? But it's not Bunting, is it? It's Benson, mess orderly. You ran off the same night with the mess silver.
That's right.
Baggy Bob Benson. That's what we used to call him. Well, that was over 30 years ago.
28, to be exact, Charles. My one moment of excitement in a dreary marriage. I recognised Robert as soon as I arrived here. It was very convenient. He was quite willing to help me for a proportion of the profits. After I shot Mildred, we went down into the cellar and he took me up the back passage.
I don't understand why you had to kill her. They were going to do it for you.
Oh, Robert almost bungled that. When I explained to him that Dorothy was going to be killed, he was too drunk to understand. He thought he had to do it. He poked his head out from the basement, shot her, and then feigned unconsciousness. We were lucky to get away with that.
But you haven't, my dear. We know all about it now.
Get away from that. No.
We'll have to arrange a little adventure for you both. A tragic accident. Over a cliff likely, I think. A bit unfortunate, coming so soon after the other killings. But the police have already got the murderers. And it does have one big advantage. We get all the money.
You can't mean it, old girl.
Just watch me. Keep them covered, Robert.
Ah, Mr. Bumsting, I wondered where Thompson had left that. Good afternoon.
Inspector, help! You've got the wrong one!
Pardon?
After them, Inspector! They're the murderers! Not that way! Outside!
Oh, come along, Thompson. After them. Oh, come on, you can hop faster than that. Get out of the way, man. Ow! I'd be really rather grateful if someone could run to assist Constable Thompson. Apparently, he's suffered irreparable damage to his right foot.